Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel for another update on Bitcoin and Solana. It's currently Tuesday, the 9th of April. Obviously Bitcoin is down hard today, getting about a 5% hit and a rejection from this breakout zone. So let's quickly talk about the news and then we're going to dive into the charts and give you everything you need to know in a very quick manner. Now starting off with the news for Solana. Solana has obviously been very congested recently, but validators have just voted on a proposal known as timely vote credits. Now I'm no dev, so I'm going to explain this proposal as simply as possible. Currently, every epoch validators are incentivized to delay their votes long enough to see which fork is going to win, so they can win the most amount of staking rewards. This delay in voting results in slower confirmations and finalizations of blocks, which directly impacts the speed of the network. Validators have come out with a solution known as the timely vote credits mechanism, and this now provides an economic incentive for validators to vote quickly, which counterbalances the advantage for waiting for the survey forks before voting. This new feature will take 8 new epochs to be tested on the Solana testnet, and then if it's successful, it will go through to mainnet. And this new feature will alleviate congestion and speed up Solana's network. On Magic Eden, pre-market diamonds are now selling at 11 cents each. So a lot of NFT maxis from the previous Solana cycle are going to make a lot of money. To find out how many diamonds you've got, simply come over to Magic Eden, and in the top right you'll see your diamonds. In other news, a new digital currency on Solana known as All Supply has become the most used program on Solana with almost 125,000 users. With All Supply, you can mine this currency anywhere, at home or on your phone. So I'm going to take a look into this. I might start mining it on my computer and my phone, and I'll report back to you on how it is. Friendly reminder, if you're on your computer, use Get Grass in the background to mine for points. I think the Magic Eden airdrop, the Get Grass airdrop, and also the airdrops that you'll get from pre-ordering the Solana Chapter 2 are just going to be easy money this cycle. If you haven't already pre-ordered your Solana Chapter 2, lock in the price now of $500 before they increase it. I'll leave my referral code down below. Now moving on to the Bitcoin news, let's discuss what's been happening with the Bitcoin ETF flows. I'm going to start summarizing these daily over on Twitter, so if you want to follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy for the important breakdowns, go do that. The main takeaways from yesterday on the 8th of April were that the ETFs barely had any positive inflows, GBTC sold over $303 million worth of Bitcoin, and the cumulative flows are looking relatively bearish on the daily, with 223.8 million worth of negative flows on the day. In the higher time frames, looking at the cumulative flow chart, we have still been relaxing at the all-time highs for the past 25 days, so in the macro, still not too bad. All in all, the macro is bullish. In the midterm, it's looking pretty neutral, and in my opinion, in the micro for the next 2 weeks or so, I think we're going to continue seeing negative flows. Let's now dive into the charts. Guys, it's approximately between 9 and 10 days away from the halving. We don't have an exact date because of course this can fluctuate depending on how quickly blocks will come out on Bitcoin, but we have seen a substantial rejection take place on Bitcoin within the past 24 hours or so. This is what I've been saying in my recent videos. I've been saying I'm leaning very neutral coming into the halving. I'm not overly bullish, I'm not overly bearish. I think mostly we're going to be trending sideways, and that's pretty much what we're doing right now. We had that breakout yesterday, we were pumping for the past few days, and we've just wiped out those gains. So if we're looking at how things are on the weekly, we're still pretty neutral. That's what I've been saying. I'm more so expecting we're going to trend sideways. If we are coming over to the 12-hour time frame on the diamond top formation though, this is not a good sign. If you've got a diamond top formation, one of the most bearish things you can do is form the diamond top, break to the upside, have a swing failure pattern, and when you come back down for the retest, you don't hold it as support and you just fall back into the pattern. This, in a most bullish scenario, is an indicator that we're at least going to come back down to the bottom of the diamond top formation at 66,600, but I think it's more likely that we're probably going to come down to around about 60,000, which is what I drew out quite some weeks ago. This is when I was saying I expect Bitcoin to break down a tiny bit, around about 60,000, find support there pre-halving. As you can see from this drawing, this was kind of my hypothesis. We're going to break down, we're going to be more or less just neutral, not overly bullish, not overly bearish, just neutral, retest some of these previous all-time high levels. I think the most conservative level would be here, around about 64,900, let's call it 65,000. I would say that's the next level that Bitcoin is likely to come back down to. But all in all, in the immediate short term, it looks like we're going to be moving down. And more or less just trending sideways into the halving. As you can see, we're breaking down now, but this is after a pump to the upside. So if we're really looking at this on the 12-hour, everything is just a little bit choppy, but more or less it is sideways into the halving. This was just a different way of visualizing the charts in a different manner. We drew this as a diamond top formation where we had a swing failure pattern. And as you can see here, this is a asymmetrical triangle. This kind of caused the same thing. I mean, we broke over the top of this. This was a swing failure pattern. This would be an indicator that at least we're going to be coming back down to around about 66,000. But all in all, I think if we do break down to the downside, if we don't manage to hold 66,600, then this is where I'm going to be calling for us to move back down to the bottom of the range, round about 60,000. And this was my initial prediction anyway, for Bitcoin to come down to 60,000. In my opinion right now, I think it's about 40% likely that Bitcoin finds support around about 66,000 and then trends sideways and then breaks up higher. I think it's maybe 60% likely that Bitcoin probably breaks to the downside of this, heads down to 60,000, trends sideways, chops some new traders out before the halving, and then after the halving, we just start sending it to much higher price targets. This, something along the lines of this and this is my prediction. I think we need to shake out the weak hands, we need to shake out the new traders, we need to shake out the new ETF holders, all of the new people in the market, shake them out, make them scared. When everyone's scared and saying, oh, maybe the bull run was over, maybe this was another SFP, maybe we need to go back down to 47,000, boom. That'll be the bottom, we'll start going to 100k. So in the short term, in the next couple of days, I'm looking a little bit bearish. In the midterm, which is the next 2 weeks, I'm leaning neutral. In the longer term, in the next month or two, I'm looking extremely bullish at Bitcoin. And it's the same thing for Solana. If we're coming over to the daily time frame for Solana, this is what we drew out in our previous video. Something like this, Solana coming back down and retesting the 50 TMA strategy before we do have that next leg back up to the upside. Now, if we do come down to the 50 TMA strategy within the next 24 to 48 hours, you could see Solana hitting round about $165, which is a solid level of support. You would 100% want to hold this level, because if you do not hold $165, then according to the 50 TMA strategy, which has played out beautifully many times on Bitcoin and Solana, it is not going to be looking too good, and this will be the start of possibly a slightly sharper correction than we were initially thinking. This was my base case prediction on Solana, as we previously discussed. Round about this level is the 50 TMA, but you can also see if we are coming over to the weekly time frame, this is another thing that we drew. Let me come over to the log. And as you can see, this is actually the 618 Fibonacci, right around this same level, $165. So there's, like I said, a lot of reasons why Solana could come down to $165 in the next couple of days or so. This level, you 100% would want to hold this, because if $165 fails to hold, you're going to have a short confirmation on the 50 TMA. You're probably going to be falling to the bottom of the daily EMA ribbons. That's going to start flipping bearish, and you're going to be losing the 618 fib, so it's not going to be looking too good. Once again, I'll reiterate my worst case scenario for Solana. I've drawn this out in previous videos, and I haven't touched this chart at all. My worst case scenario is to come down to this support level, $126. I don't think that's going to happen. In my personal opinion, the worst case scenario would be retesting this previous high at $144. I really do not see it getting any worse than that, but I've got my eyes on $165. I think there's a lot of open interest in Solana. ETFs are still purchasing Solana at massive premiums. Solana's got a massive meme coin market which is running rampant right now, so I have my eyes on $165. I personally think it's somewhat likely this level could hold, and if it doesn't, we'll be looking at this $145 as the next level to the downside. My thoughts on Bitcoin and Solana are pretty similar right now. I think everything is relatively neutral coming into the halving. I am a little bit short-term bearish for the next day or so. With that being said, give it 2 weeks, give it 3 weeks, and we'll be once again looking at my higher price target predictions for Bitcoin and Solana, with my price prediction for Bitcoin reiterating up at 160,000, and my price prediction for Solana ranging anywhere from around about $900 to $1,300. Anyway guys, that's the video for today. All in all, nothing to worry about, just a normal pre-halving bull run correction. Absolutely typical. I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the video, smash like on the way out. See you soon. Peace.